This anime tells the story of the most powerful vampire in the demon world. He is named Stas. He is one of the leaders of several regions there. In general, vampires are very fond of human blood, but unlike Stas, he prefers Japanese things, manga, anime games, and action figures. He even spends his time playing games in his room alone. Then, there was his subordinate named Deku, who discovered the existence of a human girl lost in the demon world. Knowing there were humans, Stas became excited and asked Deku to bring her to his presence immediately. The girl was named Tanagi Fayumi. Once there, Stas was so happy that his heart wanted to explode at the beauty of Fayumi. They also talked to each other, and then Deku gave the news that a bully was rampaging there. But Stas did not care about that because he wanted to be alone with Fayumi. However, Fayumi suggested Stas see his subordinates. Seeing Fayumi's eyes excited his vampire blood.
お前可愛いよすっげえ好きどっちかっていうと守りたいそうすっごい守りたいお前の頼みなら何でも聞いちゃう
Stas also accepted her suggestion and immediately went to his subordinate's place. But while leaving, Stas did not realize that monster plants were heading to Fayumi's place. Then Stas calmly approached someone weak, making a commotion here, blowing out its heart easily without needing to touch it.
俺は吸血鬼だだがニンニクも食えるし十字架も怖くはないのだあ、しんどいお疲れです
After all that, Stas and Deku returned to Fayumi, but Fayumi had been swallowed by a plant monster, and only left the bones and clothes. But it turns out that Fayumi is still there as a ghost. Seeing Fayumi already a ghost makes Stas not excited anymore. Previously, Stas was very passionate when Fayumi was still human. Therefore, Stas intends to revive Fayumi as a human. Although he had wanted to find the Dragon Ball, Fayumi remembered that she had entered the demon world through a portal that connected the human and demon worlds. Knowing they immediately headed there, Stas wanted to enter the human world with Fayumi. Before that, Stas stopped by his friends Sadie and Mamejiru. Stas asked them to check if they could pass through the portal. After checking, it turns out they can enter there, but they can't stay there for long. Even Stas, as the region's boss, certainly can't leave, otherwise, there will be a struggle for the region's boss. Fortunately, one of his subordinates can imitate Stas perfectly. He is named Yoshida, so Yoshida will replace Stas when he goes to the human world. Meanwhile, Fayumi felt doubtful and did not believe Stas would revive her. Deku explains that even though Stas looks like an otaku who only plays games and reads manga, he always keeps his promises and is even a true man admired by everyone there. Then they started to enter the portal. Once there, they were in Fayumi's room, which looked neat. Then, they met Fayumi's father. He was angry and suspicious of Stas. But Stas immediately sprayed vampire saliva liquid on him. He instantly became calmer and controlled by Stas. Then Stas looked very happy in the human world, and they stopped by Fayumi's school. There, Fayumi felt sad because she had realized that she was not human but a ghost and a resident of the demon world.
アメンだよお前はもっと魔族だって自覚を持て
That beat Fayumi, and Fayumi had no desire to live again, so that made her body disappear. Fayumi became scared and didn't want to disappear. Therefore Stas gave his blood to Fayumi to suck, and thanks to that, Fayumi could maintain her beautiful body.
お前を生き返らせるその日まで俺がお前の吸血鬼になってやる
Then, when returning to Fayumi's room, suddenly there was a boing boing woman. She was named Hydra Belle, a treasure hunter. Belle owns the portal and can even move anyone with her frame. Because they, without permission, used her portal, Belle also asked them for a costly fee. Otherwise, Fayumi was a hostage and killed in Belle's hands. As a result, because Stas had no money, he was asked to take an object from somewhere. Once there, it turned out that the object was Underpants Legend, who had never been washed for centuries.
このパンツは人を選ぶの。
は？とんだ茶番だぜ。
After being defeated, it turned out that Belle did not need the underpants, but just wanted to test the strength of Stas. Belle told him that he knew a book to revive humans, but Belle said that the book had been sold to the eastern part of the demon world. The region there is led by Wolf, a childhood friend of Stas. Then, Stas decided to return to the demon world and meet his subordinates because the eastern region was far enough. Therefore, he wanted to use the fastest train. Also, Stas brought Mamejiru so that he could monitor the conditions around them. But unexpectedly, they met Wolf on the way. They met each other and seemed to have a good relationship.
久しぶりだな、ウルフボーイ。
Then Stas explained that he was looking for a book on resurrecting humans, but Wolf didn't know that even the area there was vast. Of course, it will be difficult to find one book there. As a result, Stas challenges Wolf to boxing. If the Wolf loses, he helps find the book. If Stas loses, then Fayumi will belong to Wolf. Incidentally, Wolf was also attracted by Fayumi's beauty, so Wolf accepted the challenge.
私一体何するんです？
かわいいぜ、守ってやりてえ。絶対に負けるわけにはいかねえ。
Then, the boxing battle began. Wolf immediately launched a lot of punches and slapped his opponent until he was thrown back. Even though he was beaten to death, Stas was able to heal all his wounds quickly. While Wolf was exhausted after beating Stas, it turned out that at the beginning of the match, Stas had stuck his teeth into Wolf, so that his strength is sucked and used as a recovery for Stas. But Wolf remained hard and turned into half a beast. Wolf asked the purpose of Stas looking for the book, and Stas explained that he wanted to revive Fayumi. But Wolf didn't believe that because Stas was cruel and couldn't possibly do something for the sake of others. The words made Stas upset. He would have almost killed him if only Fayumi hadn't stopped him. Seeing Fayumi crying, Belle immediately moved them all to another place.
女の子を泣かせた奴らに教えてやるもんか。これよりこれ。
これは
特別にタダでいいよ。
てめえ、初めから持っていやがったのかよ。
Then Belle gave the book to Stas, but they couldn't read it. After investigation, it turned out that the book's author was Stas's older brother, Braz. Then Stas looked scared and didn't want to see Braz, but Wolf forced him to find a way to revive Fayumi as a human. Belle opened the portal to take Stas to the Acropolis, where Braz was, but because he was suddenly kicked by Wolf, Stas ended up entering Belle's room. While they are together, Belle tries to seduce Stas and confirms that Stas is still hiding his true power.
ねえ、私じゃダメ？
やめろ。
あれ。
Stas told his past that Braz always wanted to kill him in various ways. One day, Braz shot a bullet right into Stas's heart, so that his magic power becomes sealed and makes him unable to use all his abilities. Knowing that Belle felt attracted to Stas and even had feelings of love for him because Belle liked a strong man. On the other hand, they were relaxing, waiting for news from Stas. Suddenly, they panicked after seeing Fayumi's legs start to disappear. Wolf immediately took her to a doctor who was there. Then Belle drove Stas to the Acropolis, where Stas accidentally met his sister Liz, the head of the prison guard.
さばける日を。
ジャッジメントインパクト。
Stas was immediately thrown into the prison and locked up there. It turns out that there is a button to get out of the prison, but he must defeat the two strongest zombies first. Stas was always beaten to a pulp by these zombies, but Stas did not give up and continued challenging them. On the other hand, they arrived at a doctor named Franken. Wolf forced Franken to recover Fayumi. After almost being beaten by Wolf, Franken decided to treat Fayumi with a special medicine. Thanks to that, her body can return, but it only lasts for a while. Then, Franken asked Wolf to defeat his artificial demon first. It turns out that Franken had previously created a mighty artificial demon named Akimu. Akimu escaped from there and aimed to find strong demon limbs so that they could be fused with his body. That way, he could become a perfect demon. If Wolf manages to defeat him, Franken promises to be loyal to him while providing the best medicine for Fayumi. On the other hand, Stas was bent and helpless. Suddenly, Braz came to see him. It looks like they have a close relationship and get along, but seeing that made Liz jealous of their closeness and launched an attack on them. But the attack was easily parried by Braz. After that, Braz accepted his request to tell him how to resurrect humans, but Stas had to defeat Franken's artificial demon Akimu first. By releasing a bullet in Stas's heart, there is a possibility that Stas can defeat Akimu. In the past, Stas had extreme magic power. But after using his power, he fainted and even endangered his life. Therefore, Braz sealed the power with a bullet. After the bullet was removed from his heart, Stas immediately became stronger and even eliminated the strongest zombies there easily. After regaining his strength, Stas promised to fight Akimu's demons. He immediately headed there by free-falling from a height. Wolf had already met Akimu and fought each other there because he felt cornered. Wolf used his original form as a wolf demon, but it only lasted 3 minutes. At the last moment, Wolf managed to chop Akimu into pieces. Not only that, Stas had also arrived there.
こっちとら時間がねえんだよ
Akimu was still alive and could even control his body at will. Because Wolf had run out of strength, Stas would replace him to fight Akimu. Without further ado, Stas immediately attacked him quickly. After Akimu was thrown to a place far enough away, they could fight each other there.
一撃だ一撃で消し飛ぶようなでけえのを一発ぶちかますかねえ
Stas used Goku's power against him, but Akimu quickly stopped that, even insulting him. Of course, Stas became angry when his favorite anime was insulted. Finally, he turned into Naruto Barian mode while using the heart explosion move.
今決めたとこだ必ず殺すやいそして別れたあばよ変態継ぎはぎ野郎
Unfortunately, Akimu managed to escape from there. Bell had predicted this and immediately separated his body into several parts. It turns out that previously, someone helped Franken make the artificial demon. Then Braz and Liz came to meet them there. Liz immediately sent Franken and Akimu to prison for disturbing the peace of the demon world. As Braz promised to revive Fayumi, they immediately headed to where Fayumi was. Seeing Fayumi's body begin to disappear, Stas gave his blood to Fayumi so that she could recover. Then Braz asked him to bring the original body of Fayumi that remained. Then Bell gave Fayumi an emergency tool so she could call her with it if Fayumi got into trouble. After Stas gave his skull to Braz, Braz wanted to take a sample of Fayumi's magic for the awakening process to turn magic into a human spirit and put the spirit into her body. That's why magic samples are needed. Because Fayumi's clothes blocked the sampling process, Stas forcibly opened her clothes.
ちょっと万歳しろ
はい
せーの万歳はいて
見ない方がいい最低な兄貴たちの共同作業だ
After finishing, Braz immediately went home to do research to resurrect Fayumi, while Liz will stay with them for a while. Although Liz was initially sad because she lived with Stas, buying dolls, watching anime, and reading manga made her happier. Liz even took a bath together with Fayumi and made their relationship closer to each other. So Liz was no longer lonely thanks to living with them. However, the next day, Fayumi suddenly disappeared from there. There is a letter written not to look for her whereabouts. Knowing this, Stas confirmed that Fayumi had been kidnapped, so Deku and Yoshida immediately searched. Not only that, but Liz explained that Braz had previously placed a tracking device on Fayumi's body. She was asked to return immediately so Braz could track Fayumi's whereabouts. Shortly after, Deku gave information that they had found someone suspicious. Even Yoshida managed to imitate the face of the perpetrator. It turned out that the perpetrator was heading south. When she wanted to meet Braz, Liz was suddenly stopped by the Demon World Police, Burroughs, for breaking the rules by entering and leaving the Demon World without permission. In the end, Braz was detained by Burroughs and taken to the police station, while Liz was left alone at home. Liz tried to track Fayumi's whereabouts but still couldn't find her because Fayumi was in a different dimension. Meanwhile, Stas had arrived in the southern region and immediately met the boss there. Stas learned that the culprit was Hydra Nell or Bell's younger brother. On the other hand, while eating ramen because Fayumi hasn't eaten at all, Nell tends to give the ramen to her. However, seeing the opportunity, Fayumi came out of there and rang the bell.
ちも妥協しないぞ今のは
Knowing this, Bell immediately checked and confirmed that his brother had kidnapped Fayumi. Bell asked Nell why he was doing this. It turned out that Nell was ordered by their mother to bring Fayumi home. Since it was a request from her mother, Bell had no choice but to stop Stas, who had arrived there, so that Nell could escape with Fayumi to their house. Bell immediately took Stas to a place so they could fight each other there. Belle seems jealous because Stas cares so much about Fayumi, even though Belle also wants to get his attention. While fighting each other, Belle, who had slumped, accidentally released her underwear and some important objects. It turns out that there is a diary belonging to Belle, which contains an expression of her love for Stas. Of course, Belle doesn't want Stas to see the book's contents. Finally, Belle has no choice but to admit defeat and promise to take Stas to where Fayumi is. On the other hand, Braz was brought to the place of the Demon King. The king asked Braz about one of his subordinates who disappeared. It turned out that Braz had previously killed a subordinate of the king and made him a container for a Kimu. Braz declared a declaration of war with the king as revenge because the king had previously killed his parents to get the throne.
これは私からあなたへの宣戦布告なんですよ。
The king accepted the challenge and gave Braz 3 days to prepare to fight him. After that, he met Burrows, and Braz immediately diverted his attention so he could take off the necklace.
悪い時に使うお休み草が役に立つとはな。ありがとう。君は優しい子だ。
After the necklace was removed, Burrows was rendered unconscious. A head guard named Goyle was chasing him when he wanted to escape. Suddenly butted, making Braz fall from a height. Goyle tried to chase Braz, who was hiding in the city, but Braz was looking for an opportunity to beat him. Braz managed to withstand his attacks and even threatened him because he could kill Burrows, who was unconscious at any time.
これが私の特権魔術。ブラッドストーカーだ。ベロスの寝首くらいには。
Because Goyle couldn't do anything else, he preferred to make peace and talk to each other while eating ice cream. Stas and Belle had arrived at their house, so they met their mother first to confirm their purpose of bringing Fayumi. When meeting with her mother, Nain, she is the same mother as Fayumi with Belle. She explained that in the past, while traveling in the human world, she met her twin, who can be called a doppelganger. As a result of that meeting, their bodies became fused with each other. Belle and Fayumi are certainly sisters. While Stas also felt the same sensation as wanting to suck Fayumi's blood before. Suddenly, Stas asked Fayumi what upset Belle and moved him to another place.
お前、もしかして処女ってやつか。おや？
大丈夫、冬美。はい、幸い無傷ですんで。
Then Stas met a dragon, and it turned out that the dragon was Belle's father, named Heads. He wanted to discuss something serious with Stas and asked why Stas wanted to revive Fayumi. If you just want to suck her blood, then Heads will kill him immediately. Initially, Stas wanted to suck her blood, but now Stas only wants to revive her.
答えろ。なんで冬美を生き返らせたい？
最初はそうだと思ったけどな。嘘でも血は吸わないって言っておけばよかったが。
いや。
Then Heads moved him into his room. He would also approve if Stas wanted to be with Fayumi. However, some conditions must be met. It is allowed if Fayumi wants to leave the demon world. The second is if Fayumi doesn't mind when Stas wants to suck her blood, then it's allowed. The point is everything must be by Fayumi's wishes without coercion. Heads did that because he had promised Fayumi's father to take care of her. After Stas agreed to the terms, Heads put curse food in his mouth so that Stas could not break the agreement. Stas fainted, and when he regained consciousness, beside him was Fayumi. The two of them were in front of the gate of Belle's house. Fayumi was only wearing panties because she was suddenly moved there while changing clothes. Then Stas asked if Fayumi didn't mind coming with him, and it didn't matter if she was revived. Fayumi happily wants to return to life and always be with Stas. On the other hand, Braz is preparing to resurrect his father to fight the Demon King. And that is the end of the video. Remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching and see you next time.